show where we talk about dice camera action. And with me today is Shauna. Shauna, how are you?
I'm good. Good. Good episode. Good to get back into the swing of things after a little bit of an absence.
Feels like it's been forever, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like forever, and then everything condensed into 3 days, and then a little bit of a break again.
Yeah, yeah. So there was the stream of many eyes, which was awesome. And then we had like a long break. I
Yeah.
guess E3 was last week. Is that right?
E3 was last week, yeah,
hmm
and then Origins was last week. Was this past week as well? So it's been a lot of
Oh
busy.
yeah, I forgot about
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you give a rundown of what happened today on episode 97?
All right. So we ended up with the Waffle crew cornering the carriage, and they found out that the this whole altercation was due to a some rivalry between the Xanathar and the Zentarum over the stone of over the stones that Rhaenyra Neverember was thought to have, the stone of Galore, and it's the key to a large hoard of gold, like the dragon hoard. And apparently, the way it works is that if the stone knows, but the second you lose possession of it, you lose it. Magically takes away all information you knew from it. So only the person that holds the stone can really know where the treasure is.
hmm
And after that, they were attacked by a intellect devourer, which stole Munt's intelligence. It basically attacked him and made him like an imbecile for a while. And they found out it was a creation, like under the thrall of Nalur, I believe a mind flayer in the Xanathar's employ. So they have a lead to maybe deal with that, and that the all these intellect devourers are basically possessing people, which is why um the maintenance people were basically like had them barred in, so they were being controlled by this creature.
hmm It was the Dung
So
Sweepers Guild, right?
yes, the Dung Sweepers.
hmm
So the party split, and Magnus and Munt went to the to get basically get intelligence back by greater restoration, and the Waffle crew went back to the Oni Portal,
hmm
where Diath had basically a run-in with seven dwarves, this like representatives of the seven dwarven families,
hmm
and they were presented with stones, and there were survivors from Iron Slag, and they want they want recompense for what Diath did. So hence the title. Diaz has to answer a lot for what happened when he released Megara, the fire primordial, which is apparently, according to, kind of in the offhand way, it's assaulting the North still. It's still out there and kind of like doing damage.
hmm
So what they want Diaz to do, they don't want his life necessarily. They want gold, which is that which they have been using scrying basically to find his information, and then they also find that he'll come into like possession or like encounter like a large amount of gold, and they want that gold. So that seems like it's going to be the running theme for this thing is they need that money to please the dwarfs, and that's basically. And then they've had so Magnus gets Munt, you know, healed up,
hmm
cured, and then they meet up in the Yawning Portal, and Magnus has a good hero to hero, adventure to adventure talk to Diath about like, guilt, and that's where we ended.
It was a good show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was nice. It was just kind of like nice to the break. After the break, it's just nice to be back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People in the chat, you have any questions or comments? Go ahead and put them in there, and I'll try and keep up with you. I know Jeroth is handing out comforting pillows for all of the echoing fields. That's because of the speech
Yes.
at the end was very. Um, well, we shouldn't jump ahead. We should start at the beginning. All right. So the Dung Sweepers Guild, a portion of them are controlled by the Mind Flayer through the Intellect Devourers. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay, and so they're this is all so the Xanathar is allied with a Mind Flayer.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I got from it. That it's one of like the creatures in his employ. So
Hmm. Okay, so it's a little like I was wanting to make sure I
yeah, there's a lot of
because the last
things being thrown
session
around.
those dung sweepers were the
Yeah.
ones who actually blocked the door at ShareCon, the convention that's all
Yes.
about shares, and stop people from getting out. So that's why that was the setup. Um, Paladin, they want Dragon Heist money. Yeah, I guess this is all stuff from the upcoming Waterdeep Dragon Heist
This
book, I guess.
yeah. So this seems like the hook into the Dragon Heist adventure that the Death Curse was for Tomb. So this seems like it's going to be the thing that's going to
Hmm.
kind of string along for the rest of the season.
So we're probably maybe getting a look at material from the book. Like in theory, Nazca might be in it, right? The dwarf
Yeah.
with the crossbow hand. That
Hmm.
seems like that sounds like something that might be in the book. That's pretty it's a pretty detailed NPC.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm.
Um, the Stone of Galore. I guess that's what the whole book is
Hmm.
about. Partially is the stone, and so we're getting a look at like the Xanathar's whole setup and the situation. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, so Xanathar has a Mind Flayer who's doing work for him, which is pretty.
Hmm.
And then you've got the Zentarum, and they're butting heads with him. It's pretty interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
how much of this season is going to deal with Dragon Heist, and how much, if any, will be Dungeon of the Mad Mage. You know?
Ah. Oh yeah. I mean, they could kind of like have a small time in the Undermountain and then come back.
Hmm.
I mean, there's no reason they could have like a little bit of each, but I get the feeling that the Dragon Heist part of it's going to be most of it.
Yeah. Um, and in the this is what's funny is so he said that the dwarves had used divination magic, and they know that the heroes are going to run into that gold. That's always fun. It's always like a little risky because who knows? You never know what a D&D group is going to do, right? But
Yeah.
they said we know you're going to get that gold basically, and we
Yeah.
want it. And it's like, But it's funny as a DM, you know, you can get them to that gold even if they go to another planet. You might just do some, what I mean, it's fun. It's a weird
It's
like game within the game kind of,
yeah.
of
It's yeah. They just said you'll come into like a fortune, not
ah.
necessarily where that fortune came from. So yeah, there's some
Paladin,
room.
I really hope Magnus gets to stay for a bit longer and have a good send off. And then he said, at least help out with the mind flare before leaving. Yeah, I agree. I think Magnus is awesome and he fits right
Yeah,
in.
I like having Travis on there. He's been a good foil for them.
The speech he gave at the end, it
Hmm.
was interesting, right? Because towards the end,
Yeah.
Diath has long been upset. Gosh, what was that episode? Around 40 or
God.
50, something like that,
Yeah,
where
like
that happened.
40. Yeah, like mid 40s maybe.
It's like a year ago, real life time is when that
Hmm.
Iron Slag thing happened, and
Yeah.
he's been bothered by it ever since. And then Magnus tells him about a story, which I presume is from the Adventure Zone, stuff that actually
Yep.
happened.
They've destroyed towns. I mean, yeah, they've Magnus has more than enough experience to kind of identify with Diath in that manner.
and was able to give like actual advice, like from his character's perspective, which is very
Yeah. Yeah.
just fun. So it's fun when
Yeah.
you get these characters from different shows and they come in and they intermingle, and it's like,
Yeah.
because this is all kind of new, so we're seeing the fun things that can come out of it.
Yeah.
So you get
That
these parallels like that are just
mhm,
like makes me interested in his show, you know?
mhm. 'Cause that thing happened. The same kind of thing happened in like the Unplugged live show when they had Pat Rothfuss as a Carrick on there,
Really?
because he also kind of gave the group advice, not to like throw away their lives and to like protect each other and stuff like that.
Huh.
Kind of like gave them a pep talk before leaving. And he was a character, I think, from Critical Role. So like it's interesting, yeah, seeing these characters from established shows show up and then leave their mark on the characters and then go off.
One character that seems to really move from show to show is Archon the Cruel, Joe Manganiello's. I'm not sure how to say his name, Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello, yeah.
He's I mean, he started, I think, on Force Grey. I guess this was a real life character that he had been using just in a home game. Then he brought him into Force Grey, and then he went under Critical Role, and then at Stream of Many Eyes, he did that special Mike Merle's one shot, you know, and he's got the hand of Vecna still. It's like it's pretty awesome to see, you know, to follow that character from all these different places, and
yeah,
you know, it's just his character sheet's gonna have so many cool, notable things on it. It's just like. I mean, imagine having a character sheet where you know, it's like I got this from Mike Merle's game, and this is when I was on Critical Role. That's a pretty sweet character sheet. You know?
I mean, it's like what happened with Strix with the acquisitions thing. She got the that watch from Jerry Holkins. So
she came back from. I still haven't seen that one. That's pretty bad. She came back from that one with the time-stopping watch. It doesn't work on elves. She just came back with the statue of a dwarf. Is that right?
A dwarf, a petrified dwarf.
What happened to that?
I don't remember what happened to that dwarf. Maybe they still have it.
All right. I'm falling behind. Sorry, everybody. Let's see. Oh, okay. Amzrem 87. I'm curious how Chris Perkins will handle the C Team Gold. So, Shawnee, you were just telling me before we started. Can you tell me?
Yes. So, in this past week's C Team, since there was no dice camera action, Jared was actually on the C Team as Diath for last week's episode, and it involved him going to Red Larch to look for the 2 rings of protection that they gave Omen, but never asked for them back. And apparently, Omen had given it to Cathris and Walnut of the C Team, and Diath went there to go looking for it. He found Cathris and Walnut and basically made a deal that they can use the rings, but as a motion of good faith, they gave him 600 gold. And that's they said at the end of this episode that's in the future, so that hasn't necessarily happened yet. And we found out that the rings of protection are super powerful.
Really?
They're not just like rings of protection with Evelyn's soul in it. Like they went into detail about the because Cathris examined the rings and they found out that they were a metaphysical confirmation that's a metaphysical Vistani ritual that I guess is it's a binding, but it's also like a super powerful ritual that kind of like has both material plane, celestial plane, and arcane elements. So that's what makes it powerful, and that it has enough power to basically free a god, which is what they want the C Team to do. So it's very powerful. It's a very powerful set of rings.
What god does the C Team want to free?
I don't remember. I think it's Cathris's current patron, I think.
Oh. Okay.
I'm a little behind, so I'm kind of still working through some of the C Team stuff, but yeah, it's very powerful.
Wow. Jeez. So that DF meeting the C Team hasn't happened in continuity yet.
No. Okay. Yeah, the C Team has a really weird perception of the Waffle crew now, I think.
Really?
Like, cause when Strix, like DF performed uncharacteristically well, like he rolled 20s and 30s the entire session. So he looked super impressive. And the same thing happened to Strix when she went for her adventure with the C Team. So, and there's a lot of talk about Evelyn because they found out that like, you know, Walnut has like this book that she communicates. It works kind of like Strix's hat where like Omen can write down something on there and she'll receive it. And Omen, I think, was writing love letters to Evelyn in there without knowing what it was, that he was writing the right book. or starting one.
Whoa.
So the C team like has a really weird perception that the Waffle crew is super powerful and super competent, I guess.
They had mentioned on this show, Magnus suggested that Evelyn go into politics, and I think Omen is a masked lord of Waterdeep. Is that right?
Yeah.
So in Waterdeep, is there one open lord and then a bunch of masked lords? Is that how it works?
Yes, I think that's how that works.
So the open lord is Laeral Silverhand, who's been I mean, since Horde of the Dragon Queen, the first adventure that
Yeah.
came out. And so, but then there's a bunch of masked ones. So one is Omen. Maybe Evelyn would be, well, it's possible Evelyn might end up as one as well at some point.
I mean, she has talent to do it,
Hmm
Good standing with the church. So.
Or who knows, maybe Laeral Silverhand will die or something and
Who
Evelyn will
knows?
become, I mean, because
I mean,
she's friends with Omen, who can
yeah.
help her, move her way up.
She's also a noble too. She's from a noble family, so that doesn't
Yeah,
hurt necessarily either.
right. Pretzel Mafia, I believe the people over at Dark and Dicey have the Stone of Galore. What does that mean for the
Yes.
Waffle crew? Crossover, probably.
I don't know. It'd be interesting for Nate because Nate is in both those shows,
Yeah.
so he'd have to like kind of talk to himself. I mean, it can be done, but
Imagine that.
also I think they're in different worlds. I think technically,
Really?
I think.
They are. Oh, right,
But
because
yeah, it'd be
yes, that's right. The
interesting.
DM had described the world differently. He said Barovia was
Yeah.
in this world that he was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna. It's weird. All those kind of weird things are gonna be ironed out as time goes. Like,
Well, I mean,
all
there's
these
so many
crossovers.
shows now.
Yeah.
There's like 6 shows that are connected to like Dice Hammer action, I think, certain
So just
ways.
like continuity issues will crop up over time. It'll be
I mean, there
interesting to
will,
see
yeah.
how they can figure out how to work around it. I don't know. I don't see it being a really big deal. People in
Mm-hmm.
D&D
I
always
mean,
bring their characters to other people's games, and it doesn't
yeah,
jive completely. But
it's all up to Chris Perkins, and also like, yeah, I mean, it's fudgeable, Everybody does that.
I always say in my campaign that my campaign is like the alternate universe. So people who are using their character are usually an alternate universe character, which might be identical to the real one. It might not. So that's kind of how I work
Mm-hmm.
around it, and I can change whatever needs to be changed without ruining their character.
Yeah.
All right, we're way behind. What happened to Magnus carrying the
Uh,
message from the priest to Evelyn? I don't know. What was the message?
oh, apparently the one of the priests that Magnus met at the getting a month healed was Luke Sunbright, which I think might be the person that taught Evelyn the song that she and Strix sang leaving Barovia, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted Magnus to pass along that he wanted to see Evelyn as soon as she could. So
I'm pretty
I don't think
sure
Magnus had.
way back
I don't think
when,
Magnus. Mm-hmm.
season 1, she had Evelyn remembered that one of her teachers had been wearing the holy. I always get the two mixed up. There's the icon of Raven Loft and the holy symbol of Ravenkind. Is that right? I
Mm-hmm.
always get it
I
mixed up.
think so. I know the Ravenkind one. I don't remember. I'm a little hazy on the
I think
Raven
she still
Loft.
has one of those
She has
artifacts
the
from
Ravenkind. Yeah.
Barovia. It never gets used, right? So it's interesting. She
Yeah.
might have it and not realize that that belonged to someone she knew, and they're gonna want it back, or maybe it has some other special
Yeah.
power. I mean, how did a priest from the realms have this Barovian item? I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a question mark that has not been dealt with
I
yet.
mean, that's the cool thing about like being in Waterdeep is like those things that kind of like created on the spot, or were in the backgrounds can kind of be brought up now or have those people like show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's their
Oh,
home.
Paladin is going to explain the. So here's what happened with Magnus way back when. Apparently, they destroyed Fandalin from the box set.
Felon, yeah.
They thought they were doing the right thing by saving a half-orc kid. The kid attacked a guy with the Phoenix Fire Gauntlet, caused him to blow up himself and everything but them and an NPC.
Mhm.
Yikes. So that's from the box set, the starter set adventure that
Yeah.
Travis was talking about. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And again, that's weird because it's like, so Van Ellen is destroyed, but it's not, on his show it's destroyed, but here I don't think it is destroyed.
Yeah.
And
I think
actually,
they can kind of play with it because yeah, yeah, Magnus is like way older. Like he has a similar thing of Strix is like 100 years old. So past, play with it.
consulting polymath, that's true. That's very true. Consulting polymath. The dwarf's arm fell. He's talking about the stone dwarf. The dwarf's arm fell off, and then they left him there.
Oh god.
Poor guy.
He's still in the shadow. Oh, that's bad.
Oh,
Go
that's
to
not cool.
forever.
The dwarf was supposed to come to life and fight on their side, says Amsrin. And
They paid for him.
Walnut witnessed Omen starting a letter. Oh, to Evelyn, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Cathris has a patron that overtook his own patron.
Yep.
Dang,
That sounds right.
that's crazy. Omen started writing in the wrong letter. Yes. Bad 007. She'd be a great open lord if she weren't traveling so much. Yeah, well, it sounds like they're going to be in Waterdeep for quite a while. I mean, unless
For a
they
little while.
decide to go do something. But
Mhm.
yeah, it sounds like they're going to be in Waterdeep for like 30 episodes, probably something like that.
Oh,
So,
did you see happen to catch any of the Lori Chanel stuff that happened on the stream when they recorded that?
no.
It was about Maroots and planar contracts.
Yeah.
And Chris basically said that there's a Maroot after them.
Really?
Because I guess what Maroots do is they enforce a contract. Like one Maroot enforces a contract, and by having that Vistani ritual that Evelyn sacrifices up, broke the concordance, and they I guess have a Maroot coming after them at some point in the future.
So wait, is this Marut guarding the Ashton Concordance, the whole Skizix thing, or
It's
is
not
this
guarding it.
Strix's Infernal Contract where you can?
Oh no, it's the concordance.
Really?
They don't have it. It enforces it.
Wow.
So it'll either bring them in or kill them. So.
Wow. So the Ashton Concordance has been broken
Or violated in some way.
Ah. Okay.
So it was like heavily. That's possibly what I thought maybe that this title was alluding to, because they've been alluding to it pretty heavily. Like even I think Greg Tito said something about the Maroot in the D&D news before the show.
Really?
So they still have one of those left, I guess, somewhere down the line.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. That brings like the Planescapey stuff into it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, you just never know. They could be in Waterdeep for 30 episodes, or they could take a left turn. Like, I think if I was a player, I might want to go just deal with my Gara right now. Right? That's what I would.
Yeah. Oh god, they got, there's 2 cities now where they had coins of like you're in trouble coins. They had them in trouble.
That's true. They're collecting them.
Oh god.
They are. That's true. The Portnai and
Mhm.
Zaru Itepka Society,
Yeah.
you're gonna die coin, and now you're in trouble.
Gotta
with
go
the Dwarfs
back.
Coins. Dang. Trouble coins. I didn't know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta put that in my game. That sounds pretty good.
Oh no.
You have a trouble coin.
Oh cool.
You could make magic ones where you give somebody the coin and something bad happens to you, or you're cursed or something like that.
Oh yeah, they still have still have the spectacles still, don't they? All that stuff.
They do. That's right. They got the spectacles from Mr. Fox, the Arcanoloth, right?
And the spell book.
That's a portal key to Sigil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got that X the Mystics Arcane Grimoire, which I don't think Strix was able to read. I don't think they've had have they had anybody look at that yet?
No, but I mean, there's got to be someone. There's a black staff. There's got to be people in Waterdeep that can read that. I think.
Yeah, Elminster.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's all sorts of the Blackstaff people. You know, I've watched a lot of shows. I don't understand the Blackstaffs at all. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
It
don't.
just
Yeah, there's a lot of Forgotten Realms lore that I know of, but I'm not. I'm really shaky on.
like Force Grey is I think is that's run by the Blackstaff. Nadra, I think, but I don't know why it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
stick in my head. I don't know why, but it's very weird how that I don't understand them. And then they were talking about because Maloon was on this show, Maloon War Dragon,
Yes.
throwing darts or whatever, and his history is actually tied to the Blackstaff. I think the book he was in might have been called Blackstaff. I'm not sure,
Hmm.
but
Also.
yeah, so he's like linked to them, and I guess his sword Azure Edge has the
Mm-hmm.
spirit of one of his ancestors trapped inside of it, and her name is
Yeah.
Laroon. So he's
Mm-hmm.
got he's got a whole thing.
So,
Uh,
so Maloon's a pre-existing character then. Interesting.
yeah, he's from a novel,
Mm.
I guess. And Chris said he was in
Mm.
Force Grey. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
that's part I got. I didn't realize he was a existing character.
Here it is.
Yes.
Paladin. Evelyn still has the holy symbol of raven kind. Okay, thank you. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get it straight. I can't. When you one is the icon of Ravenloft, and the other is of Ravenkind. I get them mixed up like that.
They have a lot of magic items that they kind of like
Well,
treat willy-nilly all over the place.
they're high level now, right? They're 10th level.
Yeah, they're the
So
highest
they played
of.
they played 97 sessions of D&D. So, they should
We
have.
only died like 3 or 4 times each.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's one of the things I enjoy on the Dice Camera Action Wiki is like when I can, I try to write down the items they have and where they got them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun to see a nice
Yeah,
list where it tells you where they got each thing, and you can kind of get a look at all of their
yeah.
all of the adventures they've been on, and all the weird stuff that because you forget the tiny little details, and it's really fun
Mm-hmm.
to see them all there, and it kind of makes the whole thing kind of
Especially when they're
fun.
given items from different shows.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Paulton gave up the mandolin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, Dad is talking about she still has them because Paulton gave up the mandolin, which I think was impulsive of him. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
from the dragon turtle. Yeah, right.
But now he has one that he's taken from just some random bard.
That's not a magic item, right? That's just a regular
Nope, it's
old
just a
mandolin.
regular mandolin. Yep.
Just took it from somebody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
I mean,
he's chaotic neutral.
Paulton. Yeah, Paul needs to make his move if he wants to make a move on Evelyn, at some point, because
Now,
got some
yes.
the dwarf.
Hmm.
What was it? Nazca
Hmm.
seemed pretty jealous.
Yes. And they were both throwing darts at Maloon and
So
shooting
you got
his
Maloon, you
bug.
got Nazca, and you have Omen now.
And Omen. You're right.
So, Alton, come on.
Yeah, Paul, man, he's losing steam there, buddy. It's a lot of choices. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think Nazca is really, I don't, you know,
No, I mean he's just jealous. He's just so taken.
he's kind of like how I get Ash from The Evil Dead has the
Mm-hmm.
chainsaw hand. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
envision Nazca. He's like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of
Oh yeah.
a guy. Uh, let's see. So many plot lines. Paladin equipment piece for. Oh, really? An equipment piece for her in Idle. I should be playing Idle Champions.
Wait,
What's wrong with me?
what was that?
Paladin says there's Evelyn has an equipment piece for her in Idle Champions. The icon of Raven. Wait, the holy symbol of Ravenkind or whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is
That's
really
that's
awesome.
that's also where I remember I think Nulur coming from. I think Nulur is in that game.
Who?
I think he's just an enemy. Nulur, the mind flayer.
Really?
The Xanathar's mind flayer. I think so. I think he's an
Oh,
enemy in there.
really?
I think
Shoot.
so.
I need to. I just don't. Idle Champions. Isn't that one of those games where it's just like it's idle, right? You just kind of like
Yeah.
you know.
You let it go and you manage formation. It's fun.
If I joined now, would I still
Mm-hmm.
be able to get Strix, or was that for like a window?
No, I don't think. I think there's codes for Strix. that are given out, but like I think the event that she and Evelyn have, like they've been different events, but I think their time is over, unfortunately.
No, that's not cool for me. Um, it's a finesse weapon, Paladin. Paulton's gonna have a lot of competition. Yes, you are right. Consulting polymath, we totally agree. Oh, Paladin is telling me more. Juniper is in it. Lightfall is in it, and the Winged Boots of
Yep.
Dawn are in it. There's codes where
Yeah.
Holly
Morning
has
Glory is
most of
also
them.
in there.
Really, really? Is okay. Wait.
Morning Glory is an ultimate.
Which form is Morning Glory in? Is it like
Oh,
Pegasus or?
regular Pegasus.
Oh, wow, really?
Not a contract, but yeah, Pegasus form.
So originally Morning Glory was like the undead monstrosity.
Yeah. Yeah, the undead monstrosity. This is scary. But she's normal now. She's
She kept getting upgraded though.
mm-hmm.
So all right. So let's see. They learned about the dung sweepers, and then they went to the bar. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, is this going to be a bar fight episode?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't. There was no bar fight. You know? Who was that
Just a
big guy?
really
Was the big guy anybody special, or was he just someone that they kind of just
I
somebody?
think it was just someone that Paulton wanted to like go after Maroon with. So he was
Consult
just a random.
consulting polymath. You met Holly this weekend. Dang, she's
Nice.
so sweet and nice. Yeah, she was nice enough to come on this show a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
She's extremely nice.
Yep.
That must have
Yep.
been
She's
Origins, right? That's probably what that was.
yes. Origins. Yeah.
Yep.
She was dressed up as Strix, I think.
Yeah. So they go the Yawning Portal. For people who don't know, it's kind of a famous D&D location where there's the well in the middle, and the well is an entrance to the mega dungeon known as Undermountain. And on this show, it was pointed out that the corpse of Evelyn's dad is down there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also the location of the Dungeons of the Mad Mage, which is like a huge dungeon with many levels,
Mm-hmm.
and many of them tied to the planes. So I would, sooner or later, it seems like the group's probably going to go down there. And
Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot about the father being, of course. So yeah, I guess they would go down there at a certain point.
hmm and then you can do all sorts of weird stuff with that. Then because I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
each level has a portal to the planes or something. It's somehow connected to the planes. And Chris had said that the final few levels are really awesome, and he said it'll be worth it to get all the way to the bottom.
Hmm.
It's funny because I can't really imagine what does that mean. Like what is so cool about the bottom, right? Like
Hmm.
the planes, right? There's a Get Yankee, the astral plane, right? That'd be a Get Yankee
Yeah,
level. The far
there's like
realm
a
might be
spelljammer ship
mind.
somewhere.
Ah, oh, that's right. Yeah, there was a mention that Hallister has a spelljammer or something. Apparently, the story
Mm-hmm.
has to do with Hallister's trying to get out of the dungeon. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
all these portals were his attempts to get out, but it didn't work. So now he's got some other scheme, maybe that involves a spelljammer where he's going to fly out somehow. But I don't know. I don't know. So there's a Gitzerai level probably, a Mind Flayer level, probably
Yes.
Get Yankee. But like I can't think of anything that like unless like the very bottom level is linked to Sigil, maybe that could be a thing.
I mean,
Or the mazes, like the maybe because
mhm.
he's used the mazes on the show quite a bit. So
Yeah.
maybe a maze. I mean, and there would be a maze in the dungeon. One level should probably be a maze level, right? That's like a classic mega dungeon kind of
Mhm.
thing where but
I mean, there's all
maze.
sorts of.
It's funny. A maze dungeon in D&D is so hard to make it work. You know,
Mhm.
um, because I think a lot. I would bet most of the people watching this have either played in or tried to run a dungeon that was a maze, and it doesn't work like you think it would. Because if you map out the dungeon, then you're just sitting there and the DM is going, "Are you gonna go left or right?" Like, I don't know, left, right. I don't know. There's always
Yeah.
left. You can't. It's hard. It's time consuming to map it, and it's just kind of boring to play through. My friend Barry, he's a legend. in high school, he made a teleporting maze. And he was expecting us to somehow figure it out, and it was just we're
We
not
also
figuring that out.
we also had to go through a teleport maze, and it was the most intense chart I've ever made in my life for D&D. Was trying to figure out where these the teleports went. It was great, but like, oh,
Because ours was just like we're walking, and all of a sudden there's a flash of light, and then we're somewhere else. And it's just like, I
that is that.
don't know. And there was
Hmm.
like no monsters in there. It's just like, I can we go home now? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make a maze work
Yeah,
in D&D.
yeah, mazes are one of those
The
ones.
best way I've seen for a maze to work would be just to run it in an abstract manner where you're making skill checks.
Hmm.
But then you don't need a map really. You just need
Yeah.
description of the locations in the maze. Actually, I don't want to get too off topic. DM's Guild actually, Sean Merwin wrote an
Mm.
adventure. I think it's called the Maze of the Minotaur, and that's set in Undermountain. And I bought it, and I was gonna review it, but I never finished. I got sidetracked with something else. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of Undermountain material out there already.
Hmm.
And it's like I would love to see if I had nothing else to do in my life, I would probably buy every Undermountain product and try and just make one ultimate Undermountain with
Hmm.
everything combined. Because there's so
Yeah.
many. There's the third edition Expedition to Undermountain. There's the fourth edition Undermountain book, and in second there's like 4 Undermountain products, and the original box set really doesn't. It just gives you tools. It doesn't really describe the entire dungeon. They just kind of have you make it. So there's like a lot of room to. I think now is Skull. Do you know if Skullport is connected to Undermountain or is that separate?
It's connected, but I think it's not in it's connected in the same way that the Oni Portal I think is connected to Undermountain, I think.
Oh, I
In
see.
the way that like there's attachment, but I think it's just I think Skullport's just like a cave thing, a cave city off of
Hmm.
the harbor, I think, right?
Hmm.
But I think you can get to Skullport from there.
Skullport was something that always looked really cool to me, but I never
Hmm.
bought because I was very setting specific, and
Hmm.
I felt like I don't know if you had this in your groups, but kind of each DM had staked their claim on certain settings. So like I was the
Mm.
Planescape guy, and then my other friend was the Dark Sun guy, and we didn't
Yeah.
intermingle. That's yours, this is mine, because we don't want to read the
Yeah.
books and learn the secrets. So
Hmm. Go right
so
in.
the Realms was one in my group that was just nobody nobody touched it, but I felt weird taking stuff from the Realms, even though Skullport, the name is cool, the idea sounds
Yeah.
really cool, but I just felt like that's outside my purview. So I've
Yeah.
never really touched anything with Skullport ever.
Yeah, like I think the same because most of the realm stuff I did for 4E like Adventures League, and we never really went to Waterdeep. So the first time I dealt with Skullport was like I think for our Storm King's Thunder campaign. I think so.
Storm King.
Never really
Um,
dealt with it.
Fourth was kind of like Neverwinter focused. Well,
Well, it was
once.
like the spell plague. Everything was messed up.
Hmm. He really didn't go to Waterdeep much in fourth, and
Mm-mm.
like and there was a lot of Forgotten Realms stuff in that in those encounters adventures. Now they have the Adventurers League. Back then it was called D&D Encounters. And the
Yeah.
very first one actually was Hallister's Lost Apprentice, which was
Hmm.
an undiscovered level of Undermountain where you go in there, and there's a really, really cool final battle in that. The
Hmm.
apprentice is trapped in this. Oh, it's really cool. Um, Behind the Consulting Polymath. There's a ton of vampires down there, right? With memories of
Yeah.
her father and Strahd PTSD. They're gonna have a bad time. There's vampires down there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, because I think that the Sharn group I think had vampires in their number. I think the ones that killed Evelyn's father.
Oh, right, right. The Shar group.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Forgot. So yeah, so maybe there's a vampire level.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a level connected to Barovia
Oh
or the
yeah.
Shadowfell at least. There would be a
Oh
Shadowfell.
yeah. Because that's still Puppet Strahd is still out there.
No, because people had
So it's
mentioned
Miranda.
those standing stones that are
Hmm.
in every adventure. If you look through the published adventures,
Mhm.
Every 5th edition adventure, there's at least one magic standing stone. It's kind of mysterious, and I had actually written an article about it a few years ago, and people asked about it on Twitter, and at the time they said a couple things. Basically, we just put them in there. Basically,
Mhm.
it seems like it just kind of happened, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe you could do something with it. But then over time, they started to get more cryptic with it, and I think they got some ideas.
Mhm.
So maybe I don't think this would work, but maybe the standing stones each connect a level of under. I doubt this Undermountain to that part, so you could go to all the other adventures. Like you could go
Yeah.
from Undermountain to the Bone Grinder in Barovia, or that weird, I think it's Blindon Stone in Out of the Abyss. Uh,
Winston? Was it?
I think I don't know. There's a couple places I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was called. There's a couple, but maybe maybe not. But if it's plains, probably not. But there does seem to be something kind of growing with these standing stones things
Mhm.
that they're continuing to. There was one in Tomb as well, more than one, I think.
Oh,
I mean, I
yeah.
know
There's
there's
been a
one
bunch.
right outside the tomb, but that's directly linked to the tomb. Um,
The obelisk. Yeah. I remember
yeah,
that thing.
be kind of cool if in Dungeons of the Mad Mage where it connects to every setting, like
Mhm.
there's a Dark Sun level,
Yeah.
there's
I
a
mean,
Vistara or Blackmoor level, there's a Greyhawk level, Spelljammer level. I don't know how that would work, but unless it's connected to the Spelljammer, the actual
spelled like the
city
ship. Yeah.
ship,
Mhm.
um, which of all the Spelljammer products, that's the one that was kind of like hard to use. I mean, I read it and I'm like, I don't really
Mhm.
know what to do with this. It's a city
Well,
on a ship.
it'd be curious because they do have the those campaign setting things that they kind of weird that they announced, I guess, the day after the To Your Many Eyes.
What do you mean?
Like the campaigns they're doing like some campaign setting books, I guess,
Oh,
that they're gonna reveal like sometime in the year.
really? Yeah,
Hmm.
right.
Like two or three of them. I mean, one I think in the article.
Amsram, isn't that where Warrington Munt comes from? Spelljammer. Yes, he's a
Hmm.
GIF, GIFF, and they are originally from the Spelljammer setting. I think they're right out of the box set. So I mean, and there was a Spelljammer ship in Storm King's Thunder. Like I don't want to ruin the
Hmm.
final encounter, but that weird ship that the giant is on is right out of. It's almost identical. I think it's a hammer ship. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a ship. It's a spelljammer ship, like identical to a regular one, but it doesn't have a spelljamming helm fitted on it, so it can't fly around. You have to have one of those magic
Hmm.
helms in order to fly around in space and get your air envelope all around you. Um, when mapping, we're way off topic, but I'm sorry. When mapping in my first game ever with my uncle as our DM, our mantra was walls on both sides. Okay. Um, because he described it in only a few squares at a time, that wasn't obvious. Okay. Barovia again. Jeroth, updating previous thought. Actually, at this point, inspiring leadership would work for Evelyn. Yeah,
Hmm.
well, Evelyn, right? We've been talking. I think someone mentioned up above in the chat that she was going to end up as a saint, which is possible, and maybe that's
Yeah.
what this priest wants to talk to her about is
Maybe yeah, he knows.
sainthood.
I mean, that's the way she can kind of like remember her time being dead, her time being in his realm. So maybe.
Yeah, what I don't think has it ever been described in D&D how like a saint. How do you become a saint? Like, is there's probably a ritual or something for that? Like,
I
how does
guess
that
it would have to
happen?
be like yeah, I guess it would have to be like faith by faith, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, well, an
But yeah, I don't know about Lathander. Yeah.
agent of Lathander would have to imbue the sainthood upon you or something. I don't know.
I mean, she's got a lot of that already.
Maybe she already is one and just doesn't know it. Is that
Yeah,
possible? Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, definitely.
maybe. Um, but then so like, yeah, if that would be a little. Well, you could do both, I guess. A saint
I
and
mean,
a mass lord of Waterdeep. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
So
The
so they're in the Yawning Portal. Yeah, we were talking about Maloon, War
mhm.
Dragon, and Paladin.
Mhm.
What I was thinking he should do is find a lady in the bar, start
Mhm.
and try to make Evelyn. You know what I mean?
They're both making each other jealous.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe he should try doing. That would
Yeah.
have been pretty funny.
Mhm. Yeah. The
Yeah.
slightly different, but like with this encounter with the dwarves, I had totally forgotten that DF never told the rest of the Waffle crew what happened with the Iron Slag.
Yeah,
Because
he did
I totally
not.
forgot about that. It's been so long that they don't know.
It was pretty cool the way Chris brought dwarf representatives from each of the houses, and he had
Hmm.
Nazra like freaking out and saying they haven't agreed on anything since like the old war or whatever. Like
Yeah.
this was a big deal, and Nazra
Hmm.
was there to kind of help put this bad.
Yeah, kind of like give it that air of like this is important. The gravity of that thing. Otherwise, it's just seven dwarves. Haha.
Bad
But
007 is pointing out that my idea of the jealousy thing, does that ever work out? I don't know. I just think it would
oh
be fun to watch.
yeah.
That's all. Let's just be like a weird, and you don't know how that would turn out. I just think it would be funny.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, the dwarf clans, the seven dwarf clans, the one guy was burned
Yeah.
and lived.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to hear his story. Like, how did he
Yeah.
live?
Oh yeah, definitely how he got out. But yeah, I thought I was kind of getting a feeling they would want to drag him back to Adbar, but he got off kind of easy comparatively what happened.
Yeah, I was thinking when they were there that it was like they would want him dead or something.
Yeah, because that the main burnt dwarf was pretty hostile. Like I thought it was gonna want a part, like like a finger or like the hand, something more than just like get me this hoard of gold.
Yeah, I wasn't. Well, 500,000 gold. That is a ton of gold. So, and they were
Hmm.
saying that it was theirs to begin with, and it's entirely possible that even after he hands over the gold, that they're still gonna want to get more revenge on him. You know,
Yeah,
he's
or
probably.
that one.
Do they still have the iron flask, the magic iron flask that contains people?
Yes,
Oh,
it's empty, but I
they
think they
sh-
still have it.
they should just go to Mygara and trap him in it again. You know, her. Actually, Mygara's a her, I
I
think.
don't. I don't think. I wonder if it could trap Megara. Like, I mean, it can trap a Dow, but I don't know, maybe.
No, they did. Mygara was.
Oh,
That's
did
how
they?
the
Oh, did they? Was
Drow.
it in, or was it in?
That's how the Drow delivered Mygara to the giants
Oh,
in the
that's right.
first
The
place. Was
flask.
in the flask.
That's right.
I
That's
think.
right.
I think once you've been trapped in it, though, you have an advantage on the saving throw. And I would bet
Hmm.
Mygara already has magic resistance and has advantage on the saving throw. So
I
it's
mean,
going to be tough. But that's one way they could
it
do.
happens. Things with magical resistance can still be saving throw bad.
Consulting Polymath says, I feel like the dwarves didn't tell Diath everything. They might kill him when he gets back, or perhaps somehow set a trap for him on the journey. Could be. It
Could
sounded
be
like
they.
the houses weren't all in agreement as far as the harshness, and
Hmm.
some of them seem to sympathize with Diath. So it's possible that that burn guy is going to just do
Hmm.
something nasty, but some of the other dwarves might
It's just
step up to help, maybe.
yeah. It's just like a transaction at that point, I guess. For the other ones that weren't, it's not personal. So yeah, I can see that.
Do the dwarves have any kind of special? I don't know. I'm sure there's Forgotten Realms things like magic dwarf well, no, actually, Waterdeep's the one with the magic protector statues, right? So,
Hmm.
but I was wondering if the dwarves had any kind of special assassin kind of
Oh,
magic or
they
anything like
got
that.
to.
Yeah,
They got to have
I'm
something.
sure they have something, but I don't know. Maybe the other dwarves, says consulting polymath. Maybe the other dwarves convinced the burn guy not to kill him, and that's why he's only asking for gold. Yeah, I mean, okay, they all died, but okay, well, you know what? If there's no remains because they were probably incinerated, then I guess you
Hmm.
couldn't use raised dead.
You'd have to
Um,
be like resurrection would be the only way.
and
Yeah.
they will be a random race then,
Hmm.
which would be pretty funny.
You're not
How
a
many
dwarf.
died? Was it like 50, something like that? 50 dwarves?
Oh, it was a lot. It was a lot. I think it was. Oh.
Yeah. So the dwarves hate Diath, and that's the only thing I could think of is that he could You could go track down Mygara and trap her in the in the flask again. But then you have another situation like with the Strahd doll where you have this bad guy trapped in this thing, and you're just like,
Hmm.
get this thing away from me, you know? Some... Well, you know what? Maybe
It should just make,
they could stick it in the iron flask, get on a
yeah,
spelljammer with Warrington Munt, fly up to the sun, and throw it into the sun. There you
throw both of them in the sun. Just get rid of
go.
both.
Yes.
John.
Yeah, so the
John
whole
hates the
thing.
sun, I guess.
Just blow them up. We're low
Yeah.
on time.
All right.
Birdcage is done for a while. Is that right?
Birdcage, I think there's a little bit of announcement that it's not this week. I think it's maybe either next week or the week after.
Uh-huh.
It's coming soon. It's coming back soon.
But there's another show that starts this
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. Is that right?
Yes, Sunday.
Hey, everybody. So Holly is going to be on another show on the D&D channel, and it's this Sunday on the D&D channel at I think my time Eastern. It's 9 p.m. right?
9
It's 6
p.m.
p.m. Pacific or whatever. And this show, this is awesome. It's set in Planescape. The DM is Maz, who has been on this show as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
Maz is running. I'm not sure. Well, it's a
Mass.
it's a Modron related
It
adventure.
is the Great Modron. Yeah, Great Modron March.
TK. Oh, and in the chat is TK, another
TK.
of the
TK.
members of the cast. And
Yes.
also, so this show is like loaded with players. Lisa Chen is on it. Lisa, who's played in some of my games,
Mm-hmm.
and she wrote some of Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
freaking Hadil from Trapped in the Birdcage is on this show.
Yeah.
And
Also,
somebody
Kayla Klein,
else.
who was a guest on the show, was also on that show. So, and I will
What?
be on the show as well. So
And
there. So,
Shauna's on the
terrifying.
show, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna is playing D&D on the D&D channel.
It
Freaking amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I cannot wait
It's a
to see it.
all tiefling game, so that should be really exciting. And God, Planescape will be so fun.
Jeroth, your roommate would love
I'm
that. He loves the
terrified.
Modrons. He has no time. Well, I'll tell you what, Jeroth, I'll be writing recaps of the show on my blog, and I might start a wiki for it. We're still talking about that, hopefully, but I will have recaps of the show, and and there will probably be clips on the RPGN, which is every Sunday on Twitch at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we do the Sports Center of D&D. You know, we show clips from everybody's shows, no matter who they are or where they're from. Oh, and Chloe, 7 tieflings. That's the party, right? 7 tieflings.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's a lot of players.
It's a lot of players. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And you're going through a
But
converted second edition adventure to 4th.
mm-hmm. And we've had some rollout over. So we've had everyone's characters revealed and some information about Planescape on the Hell's Bells D&D Twitter. All that stuff can be found there, and there's also Discord. So I'll put that in.
What's your character like? Can you tell?
Levity. She is a monk. You might think drunken master monk of Lyra.
What,
Tiefling.
drunken master?
Yes, so very happy, very just bubbly and stuff like that. So just interesting because the new show, Rivals of Waterdeep, also has some Lyra connection as well. So that was exciting to see as well. So
really,
yeah.
What level are you?
I think we're starting at 3.
Do you have a backstory? Like, why do you?
Yeah, we are releasing letters from each of our characters. So I think today was Chloe's character, Lyra. So there's a little bit of home letters that have been released by the Twitter. So not all of us are from Sigil. Some of us are from Odd Realms, and some of us are from other places like Barovia. So it's all over the place. It's not just planar tieflings.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Has the letter for Holly's character been released yet?
Not yet. I think it's later on this week.
Oh, okay.
We just started.
That's amazing. You're gonna go through second edition adventure. converted to 5th. I ran the Great Moat Run March a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tricky to convert and run. And then it's second edition adventure. It's got it's got all those weird, at the time, things were just written differently, so it's kind of, you have to. But for the most part, it's awesome. The idea is like, it's so great. The idea is that the Moat Runs. I'm sure most people in the chat know what a Moat Run is, but if you don't, it's like they're like sort of like D&D robots, clockwork robot people. And the main ones are the weakest ones are the monodrones. They're in the monster manual. They're like globes with little legs and a big eye and a mouth, and they just walk around and blink and stuff. So every 400 something years they march through the plains, and it's kind of like their inspection of the plains and all that stuff. And everything is on a schedule with them. They're very rigid and mechanical. And for some reason in the Great Modron March, they do it early, hundreds of years early. And so what happens is they're going on their same route, but nobody's ready for it, because when you do it once every 400 years, people in the plains, okay, we got in a decade this is going to happen, so we better make sure the roads are organized right. But because this is happening off schedule, it's total chaos. They're creating total chaos, which is weird because they're creatures of law. And so the heroes are going to have to figure out, why is this happening, while they help people deal with the march that's like just rampaging through the plains.
Yeah.
It's a crazy event by Monty Cook, one of the great
Yes.
adventure writers of all time. And there's a sequel to this adventure called Dead Gods, which is another adventure. Both of those adventures, Modron March and Dead Gods, are considered two of like the great adventures of all time. And so now we're going to get to see them converted to 5th and played on the D&D channel. I can't wait to see.
And if you want more information on Planescape, like I did when I made my campaign a couple of years ago, I went to your blog, Sean,
You
for
did?
information. So
That's funny.
Power Square RPG has
Yeah.
a lot of information on Planescape that is very valuable in kind of getting used to the setting. And it's a weird setting.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's I wrote a guide to the Lady of Pain, and a guide to Sigil, and a guide to the factions, which is like this gigantic. Hey, are your characters members of the factions?
I think some of us are.
Cool.
Holly's character is.
Yeah, cool.
Some it'll be interesting. There are some definitely headbutting factions in there, because I think Levity is a sensate, so sensates and dustmans don't usually get along very well.
The most popular faction in Planescape. I don't know why.
Yes.
Every game I play in, all across the universe, people like the sensates the best by far. By far. It's very interesting.
It's the most kind of do what you want, like hippy dippy kind of
It's
faction
such a
out there.
nice, easy way. It mixes well an adventure so well, because it's just about experiencing everything in the multiverse, and then you record them in your sensory stones, which is really cool. And I think that combination, and there's just a lot of details on them, and Planescape Torment really focuses on the sensates quite a bit. The Civic Fest Hall, it's gigantic, it's cool. You could spend hours in the sensorium experiencing the sensory stones, which I actually consider. Planescape Torment, right? You can go into the sensorium and you can experience different sensory stones. There's like 20 or 30 of them. And each one is like a short story. Like one is called Lycanthropy. And it's just about somebody recorded their memory of when they first became a werewolf. And so you go in there and you experience it and you read it, and it's not that long, but it's like 5 paragraphs long. I seriously considered like either transcribing or cutting and pasting those to use in my game, because they were so good. And I hate reading. I hate reading, everybody. So
that's one of my favorite games is Torment. So it's such a good game.
Yeah. All right. I think we are out of time at this point. This show is going to air again on Thursday on the D&D channel. I think at 7 Eastern or something like that.
Yep, 7 Eastern. Usual spot before Birdcage.
And tomorrow I'll be on the Greyhawk channel at 2 p.m. Eastern playing. I'm playing against Zerai on Mordenkainen's Path of the Plains. And that show is like really good. I'm really lucky to be on it, because I'm playing with some people who are so good that it's like I feel like I have to up my game, kind of. This Kelly Butler, who's an opera singer in real life, so she's a bard who sings opera stuff. It's insane. And then Ellie, who's just a really good role player in the critical role vein of playing. So for me, this show has kind of been a challenge of adapting my playing style to fit better with the rest of the group. Because I'm a very like beer and pretzels kind of goofball, and I don't drink beer though. But so it's kind of been fun for me to try and um, try different things and see how that goes. And it's been you kind of learn a lot by playing with different people, and it's been a really fun. And the DM is really great, Shane, the Greyhawk channel. That's this one. There's certain channel. I'm rambling, but there's certain channels out there, everybody, that you should definitely check out. And not because I'm friends with them or that I'm on them, but I just think that they're kind of they're on the way up. Like with Hell's Bells. She Matt, I'm sorry, Matt had done a couple of shows, like holiday-based shows, and I watched the
Hmm.
first one, and it was freaking awesome. And you
Yeah, those are
could
so good.
tell that this should be a thing. And I remember saying, I don't want to toot my own horn. I was like, Mads, you should do this every freaking week. This is really good. You have a good group, and look, worked out good. Greyhawk channels like that. Castle Mac D&D. Everybody should check that out. Um, Welcome to the Party is good. Off the Table. Let me tell you, man. One
Hmm.
of my players on my Lizard King group, her name is Katie, and she's hilarious, and she runs some stuff for them and does their social media, and Off the Table runs different shows, and it's basically this Summer is the main person. I think that's her channel, and she's like just amazing, just an amazing like such a. Sometimes in life you meet people who are like creatively charged or they have a lot of charisma. Summers to me is one of those people who's just like really she has something special about her. So like there's a lot, and there's so many channels out there, and that's another nice thing about doing the RPGN is I get to see them all, and there's all these people
Hmm.
plugging away, and they're doing really cool stuff. So it's fun. Like Perception Check, I'm sure some of you have seen this on Twitch, but that's a big show, and that's the show where there's like Muppets, and then there's people,
Yes.
and they're all playing D&D together, and it's just like the greatest thing. But there's like this weird separation where there's all these things that people don't know about. You know what I mean? And even though Perception
Hmm.
Check is huge, I don't hear people in our circles talk about it. There's no awareness of it. So I'm sure that will change over time. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on right now. So yeah, congratulations! I cannot wait to see on
Yeah, it's
Sunday.
terrifying.
I will be there in the chat
Oh, thanks.
with
I
emojis
will.
fully loaded. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We will see
All right.
you.
Later.
Is there anything else you want to plug,
Bye
Shane,
bye.
before we go?
Just the usual. I'm on Parscar RPG, your channel. Every other Saturday. We're running through what was it? Riddles of the Raven Queen, which is been cool and a lot of crows. And
There's no
I'm on
crows.
the Encounter Roleplay on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. For Star Wars Rise of the Dark Side, where we play just disaster Jedi children at this point, and we have stolen the ship, so it's gotten a little crazy. But
Awesome.
that's busy.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week to talk about Dice Camera Action, episode 98. Let me hit my output button, and then we'll get out of here. It's going so slow. I don't understand what the deal with this thing is. There we go. All right. So, yeah. Oh, I should mention that. Let's see. Oh, Thursday I'll be actually running a show. I should probably on the
Oh, that's
Greyhawk
right.
channel.
Yes. Oh God.
Secrets
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Castle Greyhawk. I'll be running that with 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 Dylan and Chloe, and I got Lauren Irwin from Encounter Roleplay, and I got freaking Nerditor Doug. And the
Mm-hmm.
group is awesome. It's one of those things where it's just
Yeah.
like I don't have to do anything. You just have four good people, and I just kind of sit there. So I mean, I don't. I've done a lot of work on it, but it's easy when you have a group of people with the right attitude. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's
It's
what
been fun. I've
D&D is
watched
all
that one.
about.
It's good.
All right. thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you again next week. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Ooh, it's so